Hello, hello, welcome. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to my channel. I'm so happy to see you today. And I know it's cold where I am, and I'm sure where you are, if you're not in the Caribbean, you're experiencing some very cold temperatures. Well, I hope you're staying warm, you're staying safe, and I hope you have a few minutes. I guess you joined me, you do have a few minutes. And I hope you woke up a friend, like, subscribe to the YouTube channel so that when I have my lives, you'll get a notification and then you can jump on. So I am so happy. Today is Sunday, and today I forgot where we are. I think it's day 19. Day 19 of my Elegantly Raw Breakfast Challenge. I hope you have been making the breakfasts. I hope you are enjoying them. I hope you're sharing them with a friend. And I hope that it has inspired you to add more raw living foods to your diet. I'm not saying you need to be 100% raw if you don't need to or don't want to, but I'm saying you can make wiser food choices and add some living foods to your diet. You would only be blessed. You know, our Creator has placed intelligence in our food. You know, we have bioactive compounds and there are enzymes and nutrients and vitamins. And those things were not put there just for style. They're put there for a purpose because we are from the earth. Our bodies, we are made up of bioactive compounds from the earth. So we're trying to plug in processed foods and cooked foods is only going to cause a bad electrical charge or some type of electrical overcharge or something like that. But when we plug in with bioactive compounds from raw living food, then the current flows smoothly. The current flows gracefully. We feel balanced. We feel energized. But when we feed our body dead food, and we're not dead, we're alive. We want alive food. So when we feed our body alive food, we can go. We feel alive. Our brain cells awake, you know, and things just start happening in our bodies. We can't even explain. We start losing weight, you know, the digestion improves. So my friends, I know it's just not about the food. There are other things you need to do as well. You know, it's a complete package. We have lifestyle changes, going to bed on time, drinking enough water, walking, exercising, trusting in God. We have all these other things that makes it a complete package. But we're focusing right now on eating nutritiously, raw, well-balanced food. All right, enough of my talking. So again, if you're new to the channel, my name is Chef Natalie, founder of Elegantly Raw Cuisine. And I'm also a doctor of clinical nutrition and functional medicine. And it is my belief that food is medicine. It's my belief that raw food is the medicine intended for our cells to thrive and nourish. And it also helps us to reverse some of these lifestyle diseases. I am not saying if you don't have a medical emergency, you shouldn't go to the doctor and get some medication if you need it. But our primary source of healing should come from the foods that God has given us. And I'll tell you something, there's so much wisdom in all of God's foods, but there's more wisdom in those vegetables, especially those green leafy vegetables, especially the ones from the cruciferous family of vegetables. So anyway, we'll talk more about that at another time. But today, our recipe for today is Elegantly Raw Living Buckwheat Breakfast Cookies. It's a mouthful. Take a minute and write that down. We are making Elegantly Raw Living Buckwheat Breakfast Cookies. And of course, the star of the show today, I have two stars of the show. They're going to share the stage today. We have sprouted buckwheat. And by now you should know to sprout buckwheat. And if you don't worry. I have a class coming up where I'll be teaching you how to sprout buckwheat and many more nuts and seeds. All right. And we'll talk more about the raw intelligence in the food and the healing benefits of the food. And the next star of the show, I have raw carob. Now you notice this carob is not black or dark brown because it is raw, it is not roasted. So most of the carob you see on the shelf that is dark brown, it means that it has been roasted. So I did get mine on Amazon. So so you can look for it, raw carob, and it's sweet. It's naturally sweet. Now, even though carob is naturally sweet, it could be used to replace cacao or chocolate. If you're making a recipe that calls for chocolate and you have a sensitivity to caffeine, you could replace it with carob. If you want the chocolate look and you don't want the light carob, you can do the roasted carob. Just know that you have killed some of the nutritional properties of a roasted carob, but you will get the minerals that would survive the heat. All right, so raw carob is a very interesting ingredient, and I like it, and I'm going to use it more in my menu planning. And the reason for that is raw carob has a very high calcium profile. I mean, in this particular recipe, which is I'm using a 1/4 cup of carob, you're going to get about 90 grams of delicious, well-balanced calcium, 90 milligrams, okay, just from a 1/4 cup of raw carob. And the carob also has a really nice profile with fiber. You get at least 10 grams of fiber in this 1/4 cup of carob. So if you never had carob before, please try the carob as well, and also rich in minerals. And we'll talk about that in a minute. And there's an interesting compound in that, a bioactive compound in carob that is really good for helping to support. I said we'll talk about it in a little bit, but while we're here, let's just continue talking about the carob. So there's an interesting compound in this carob called D-pentyl, and you can look it up. It is really unique in nature. It's a bioactive compound that helps to regulate blood sugar. So you may think because the carob is sweet, you may not want to eat it because you have some glucose metabolism challenges, but you can try it and see how you do. It does have built-in bioactive compound to help balance spikes in your blood sugar and also help with glucose insulin sensitivity. All right, so there you go with the carob. All right, so let's talk about our next star of the show. Our next star of the show is the sprouted buckwheat. Now, I love buckwheat because it is a complete protein. And being a plant food eater like myself and a raw food lover like myself, you want to know where you're getting your protein. And being my age, and you start losing, you're having bone problems and losing muscle, you want to make sure that you're getting complete protein in your meals. If you're lifting weights, which you should be doing, and building that muscle, you can add a mixture of the sprouted buckwheat with carob, and you can make a nice smoothie or a nice breakfast mixture, and you'll get amazing complete 9 essential amino acids from the buckwheat. And also I've read in some sources that carob is also a complete protein source. It has all the essential amino acids. So look it up if you want to fact check me. All right, so back to our buckwheat. Our buckwheat is also very high in soluble and insoluble fiber. And one of the soluble fibers in here is very helpful for balancing blood sugar and improving insulin sensitivity as well. It is naturally gluten-free. It's high in antioxidants and helps fend off free radical damage to your cells. So you want to eat foods that are rich in antioxidants and have a high profile of bioactive compounds that help protect your cells from free radical damage. And what do I mean by free radical damage? When you eat things that are not properly aligned with your body, the makeup of your body, the biological nature of your body, the body reacts to it, right? You're creating free radical damage. So when you eat processed foods, that's something strange to your body. When you're eating cooked oils, it's strange to your body. So you're creating an inflammatory process when you eat these foods. But when you eat foods high in antioxidants in its natural form, natural fibers, it will fill you up and it will also protect your cells from free radical damage. So anyways, I think I've talked enough about the food, the stars of the show. We'll get into the recipe. So this recipe, we don't need a blender nor a food processor. So you just need a bowl. So I have a bowl here. And I'm going to put my gloves on. So while I put my gloves on, reach out to somebody who you think might benefit from this recipe or this dish, and wake them up. Bring a pen and paper, and let's get writing. I'm going to give you the measurements in a minute. All right. Okay. All right. So for this recipe, as I said, you don't need a food processor or a blender, but you do need some mixing utensils and a glass bowl, any bowl you like. And the star of the recipe, as I said, is the buckwheat groats, sprouted buckwheat groats. It is alive. You can see the tails in them. You see the tails? And then you want to just kind of dry them out a little bit. Don't bring in too much excessive liquid because we're not baking it. I did put I put one batch in the oven on very low, like 170, and I left it in there with the door open just to dry out the liquid. And then my dehydrator, I put the other one at 1010 or something to just dry out the extra liquid. But it's still alive. You see the tails in here, and that's how we know it's alive. So we need, so here I have a cup and a half of sprouted buckwheat. Then I have a quarter cup of soaked and rinsed almonds. You can use any nut that you like, but I'm using almonds for this recipe. And also a quarter cup of soaked and sprouted pumpkin seeds. I'm using, I think it's two teaspoons of grounded flax. I'm using a quarter cup of raw carob. I'm also using a quarter teaspoon of Ceylon cinnamon, and also a quarter teaspoon of vanilla powder. It's organic, just pure vanilla. Read your instructions. I'm going to do a pinch of salt, and I'm using half cup of soaked dates, which we will chop up to put in the recipe. And I'm adding some extra. You don't need to, but I think I like the chunkiness of a little raisins in there, not a lot. And then about 1 to 2 tablespoons of a nut butter that you can make, a raw nut butter. So read your ingredients. Raw means it has not been heated or cooked, not roasted almond butter. Roasted means it's cooked. So you can make your own almond butter. I can show you how to do that as well. And but I'm using raw tahini this morning, right? But I'm sure if you use almond butter, you have an amazing flavor for this recipe. All right, what did I leave out? Oh, I did add the cinnamon to give you some digestive support, because cinnamon helps with digestion. And you can also add a little piece of ginger if you like for the extra digestive support. I'm always looking for ways to increase digestion, because sometimes raw foods could be a little harsh for some people. And then we have techniques that we use within the raw food family of preparing raw food to help the body to assimilate the food a lot better. Most of us have some type of impaired digestion, and we want to focus on, if you're just starting off raw food, don't jump into it right away. Start to think about what in raw food I can use to start healing my gut. You're right. And then once your gut is healed, it will be more prepared to accept the nutrition that is intended for our bodies to thrive. Okay. So it will be a process. Don't rush into it. Take your time. Eat lighter in the beginning, maybe for 4 weeks or so, 21 days as you build your habit. Lighter, raw foods, things that are focused on gut healing. If you're in my group, Raw Revival, or any one of my other groups, Elegantly Raw, I am going to start with giving you some recipes or some ingredients And we'll do this together. Maybe we'll do 20 days, 21 days together on just focusing on things to help build the gut, build back that energy within the gut, the potential to break food down. And then we'll jump into some more heavier raw food recipes. I hope that sounds great. And I hope you're in your group. If you're not, put your information in the chat. And then I will add you to the group. And then we'll start working on it together. It's a journey, right? Because I know this is new for some of you. And you're like, I've never eaten raw food before and I ain't beginning to eat it. I'm here for curiosity's sake. All right. And if you're not in America, don't worry about it. We'll work with you. So put your information or private message me, your phone number or whatever you want to do. And we'll start working on rebuilding the gut by, giving it what it needs to restore the cells in the gut lining for healing. Now, this recipe is perfect. As I said before, the sprouted buckwheat is filled with soluble fiber and also carob is filled with soluble fiber. This fiber in the food is not damaged by heat, right? So it has a better binding capacity to remove toxins from your body. And you know what soluble fiber does? Soluble fiber produces short-chain fatty acids in the gut. When the microbes start eating it, they produce something called short-chain fatty acids. And the short-chain fatty acids in your gut is what promotes the healing, closing up those junctions, healing the gut lining so that you could enjoy the food that you want to enjoy. Allergies and all these things that we have is just that we have things going into our bloodstream that shouldn't go in there because we have big gaps and broken gut lining. So things float into the gut and get into the blood and cause allergies. We're itching, we're sneezing, we can't eat almonds, we can't eat whatever you can't eat. But we want to work on healing the gut with the raw foods. And then you'll start to enjoy the foods that God has intended for us. Because I don't believe God has said you shouldn't eat almonds and he gave it to us and it's healthy, right? It's our guts need some attention so that we can enjoy the food that God has given us. And the solution to it is not pharmaceutical medicine. Now, there are times when you need pharmaceutical medicine, don't get me wrong, when there's a medical emergency, but right now we have lifestyle damage. So we need to reverse the lifestyle damage that we put on ourselves because we didn't eat right, we didn't chew our foods well, we didn't chew our food long to give our brain and our gut the signals. Hey, I got raw vegetables coming in here, prepare bile. No, we didn't do that. We take one bite and we swallow. One bite and we swallow. You know what that does to your gut lining? It is too hard and it creates friction on the esophagus and the gut lining. So that's where we start poking the holes in there. All right. So we're going to learn to eat better. We're going to learn to chew our food longer so that we send clear signals to our brain and to our gut. Food is coming and the food has fiber in it. It has this, and this in it. So now you prepare the digestive situation to accept this food, break it down, and send the right nutrients to the rest of my cells so that I can heal. Okay, I like to talk too much. Let's get going. All right, so let's put the dry ingredients in here first, mix it around, and make sure it's well incorporated. All right, so I'm adding my flaxseed in here. And I'm going to add, what did I say? I said 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla extract. You can add more, 50 teaspoon because I like vanilla. All right. Let's start with 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I mean, you could add more if you like. It's just for taste to bring out the sweetness in the recipe. I'm going to put in the cinnamon, as I said, to help support digestion. And if you wanted to put a little bit of grated cinnamon, ginger in here, it's all good. You can do that. I am also going to put in the carob powder. So we want to mix up all the dry ingredients first to make sure that everything's well incorporated and evenly distributed in the recipe. So we'll just give that a little mix with my spoon. Here. All mixed up. And now we're going to chop up the, so that's well incorporated. I'm going to chop up the 1/4 cup of soaked pumpkin seeds. Just rough chop. You don't have to rough chop it up too small. One thing about raw foods is that The surface area of the food is very important for digestion. In raw foods, we believe that the food should have smaller surface area to support proper digestion. What that means is we chop our food small as we can, or we blend the food as much as we can to reduce the surface area of the food. Or you can grate the food like back in the day on a grater, right? So that helps the digestive juices coat more of the seeds or more of the vegetables to help break it down so you can get the nutrition that you need. All right. So this, I think it's rough chop enough. I hope you're looking and you're writing down some notes, you know. And guys, we'll learn together. Don't worry, we're learning together. I started this journey many moons ago, before raw food was even a thing. I love it. I just like it. Anyways, now I'm just gonna add that to my dry ingredients. All right, so let's chop up the 1/4 cup of almonds. Now I put extra almonds in here because I just wanted to, but when you do it the first time, you'll know what you want to do with the recipe when you make it the second time. So this is 21 days of raw breakfast ideas. If you haven't liked and subscribed to my channel, please do so that you can get new things coming up. We have a lot of things in the pipeline planned for this channel to help you be more successful on a raw food diet, right? I'm not selling a naked body eating raw, or, like we see in other places. We're selling good nutrition, food that is bioavailable to heal the body, food that will nourish you from the inside out, okay? So let's do that. You don't need to put them when you eat raw foods, your skin clears up. You look younger. You feel those telomeres that tell you that the doctors used to tell you how many more days you have to live. All right. Now, if the skins come off the almonds, remember the almonds are soaked and rinsed, okay? And if you can sprout them, you do that. Raw almonds, not raw roasted almonds or dry roasted almonds, purely raw almonds. Okay. All right, so this is a lot here. Okay. Next, I'm going to add in the sprouted buckwheat, our complete protein here. Complete protein. All right, so let's add this. Let's just give it a good mix up here. Make sure everything is incorporated well, because when we start adding the wet ingredients, things don't mix that well. Okay, so I'm coating everything with the carob powder and all the nice spices and a little salt. Okay. Very good. And you can taste this at this point to see if you have a nice flavor. If you need to add anything else here, you can. Sometimes I like to put in some zest from an orange, and that gives it a nice flavor. And another thing you can add too, you can add a little coconut cream. But just remember, with coconut cream, it does get a little rancid if it's you don't eat it right away. All right, so I'm just going to chop up my 1/2 cup of hold on. I'm trying to drain the liquid out from these dates so you don't add too much liquid to the recipe. However, when you start mixing up the recipe, if you need like a little bit moisture in there to mix things around, just add a little bit of the date water back in there. So that'll give it a little bit more moisture. I hope I took the seeds out of all of these things. I have to check. I think I did. Alrighty, let's see. I haven't had breakfast, so this will be my breakfast. Just checking on the seeds. All right. So let's just start chopping it up and putting it in there. So some people, their dates might just have melted, but mine didn't because I only put it to soak this morning. So it's not melted as much. So it's a little mushy, so it should work. All right. So that's mushy enough for me. And I can add the rest here. All right, let's just rough chop it. Oops, I think I cut my gloves. All right. Okay, so all you're doing is rough chopping it up. It gets really mushy, and that's good. I have a runaway almond right here. Oh, our almond ran away to the plate. Okay, drop him in there. And I would just rough chop maybe a little bit of it's up to you. The raisins are optional, so I'm just gonna just chop it. They're dried raisins. You really shouldn't be eating dry raisins. You should put the moisture back in there, but I didn't. Sometimes we have a cheat day. A cheat day that wouldn't hurt you, okay? Don't do a cheat day and go drink something or eat something you shouldn't eat. But it's not gonna hurt you that much. Just chop it up really small. Drop it in there, it just has more crunch in there. And then you want to add, so this is it. Let's just move these aside. Okay. So now we're going to add about 2 tablespoons of the butter. Now, oops, my butter is like almost, I don't think I have much in here because I made it earlier today. So, but you want to add about 1 to 2 tablespoons of nut butter, okay? All right. Okay. And then I'm going to scrape out as much as I can in there. I think it's all done now. It's the end of the jar. You can definitely make your own butters if you like. But if you're going to use from a company, find a reputable company that knows about raw foods. Not everybody does. All right, this is the end of my butter. I need to replenish my stores. All right, so now we're going to mix this up. You could mix it up with your hand or you could mix it up with a spoon. It's up to you. So let's see how we do with the moisture in here. We may not need to add any of the leftover liquid from the dates. So let's see how we go. All right, so I think it has enough moisture. If you want, you can add a little bit if you want. I'm going to use my hand now. That's what God gave us in the beginning, a hand, to squeeze it and massage it. All right, there you go. This is looking good. Now, you can technically dehydrate this in the dehydrator, or you could put it in the fridge to foam up a little bit. And then when you take it out to eat, you can eat it at room temperature. All right, so I'm going to ball this out now for you. All right, give me 1 second. I'm going to get a working plate so we can do this. All right, I'm going to make it in here and then I'm going to plate it for you. So that I wouldn't dirty my plating plate, if that makes sense. Okay, so I have a fancy cup here. This is a best friend cup. It has been with me for over, I guess, 20 years. in my raw food journey. It started with my journey and I still have it going. So I have much respect for my cup, my handy dandy cup. It does everything. So I'm just gonna make the cookies. I'm putting it like about what? An inch? 2 inches. Is it an inch? I think about 2 inches in thickness, I guess. An inch and a half, right? All right. So now you can get whatever you want to form your cookies. I mean, you have cookie cutters or whatever. You can put it flat and then use a cookie cutter. But this is my Wonder Cup here. And there's a cup, cookies coming out. All right. Of course, you can taste it and see what you need. Okay. All right. And this has natural sweeteners, natural fat. Nothing is going here is going to destroy your cells. It's healing. Everything in here is healing for your body. You know, high protein. All right, I think this recipe is going to give us about 4, 5, 6, about 7 cookies for breakfast. All righty, looking good, looking good. Another thing you can do here if you wanted to and you have good digestion, you can put some blueberries in here as well, if your body can handle the blueberries in here. If you can handle it for digestion. All right, I think we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I didn't tell a lie. We have about 6. All right, look at that, 6. Now, I'm gonna get rid of my gloves on this hand because it's messy. And let's plate our, so it's not elegantly raw until it's plated well, okay? You know me. All right, let's plate it nice for breakfast. So I'm gonna put a little bit of cinnamon powder on the plate. And then we'll take our cookies. You know, friend coming over. Hey, you can tell I do some concentration here because see, I put a little bit more of cinnamon across the top, you know, and oh, I think I damaged my mint. And then you could stick some mint in here. I think I damaged my mint. I need another piece of mint. Hold on 1 second. I damaged my mint. Let's look for another one that looks alive. Okay, so we found a new piece here. Okay, there you have it. There you have it. Elegantly raw breakfast buckwheat breakfast cookie. Living cookies. I'm going to bring it to the camera so you can see it. It is beautifully served. It's raw. It's living. It's delicious. It's cell loving, diabetic friendly, gluten free, natural sweeteners, high in fiber, high in calcium, a complete protein breakfast. So this is a very nutritious raw breakfast. All right. I'm so happy you joined me and I wish you were here to enjoy these. But since it's snowing, I'm just going to have myself some comfort food here with this. So I love you. And I'll see you in my next video. I do have about, what, 2 more days of raw breakfast recipes, so don't miss them. All right. I bring you unique ideas and wonderful ways to present your food, because we start eating with our eyes before we start eating with our mouth. Bye for now. See you in the next video.